Good evening. London is grieving again tonight. Its streets once more stained with blood. The blood of 3 people killed when a car deliberately ploughed through them as they crossed Westminster Bridge. Dozens more, including an Australian woman, injured in the same assault. And the blood of PC Keith Palmer, fatally stabbed as he stood guard at the Houses of Parliament. It's a scene sadly not unfamiliar in London, but its mayor says the city stands defiant, refusing to be cowed by terrorism. The British Prime Minister praising those who ran towards the danger, even as they urged others to run the other way.
An attack that had been expected, but no less shocking. Panicked officers shutting down the area. CCTV footage shows the grey Hyundai driving at speed towards Westminster, the attacker then swerving onto the footpath, one woman jumping into the River Thames. People are hit, knocked to the ground, some into traffic. Moments later, survivors rush to the aid of those mowed down, some of the injuries described as catastrophic. The driver continuing until coming to a halt, smashing into the security fence in the shadow of Big Ben.
And then we looked on the bridge and realised things were stopped and there were a lot of people running. And then we realised there must be something going on.
A gentleman flying up in front of me and landed in the middle of the road, then he collected me on what happened to Germany.
I saw the vehicle mount the curb and it was coming out so quickly. I saw some people be hit in front of me, looked around me in shock because I could, see bodies and people, and it was all, a real shock.
There was a point when it's like, I'm hoping this isn't the beginning of another Paris or something.
And then I saw a body on the other side of the road, and then there was another body further up. When I looked over the side of the bridge, there was a body floating face down in the water as well.
The woman seen jumping was rescued. She's now in a critical condition in hospital.
Approximately 40 people have been injured, including several with serious injuries, including 3 police officers, 2 of whom are in serious condition.
Police say they believe they know the identity of the attacker and his motive.
We think we know who the attacker is, and as I say, we're working to look at associates. Islamist-related terrorism is our assumption.
The first sign that something was wrong was at 2:40 in the afternoon when a driver was seen mounting the pavement along Westminster Bridge. 3 people are understood to have been hit and killed. The driver then crashed into security railings at the Houses of Parliament. He ran through the gates of the Palace of Westminster and stabbed a police officer who died of his injuries. The man was then fatally shot by officers in New Palace Yard. The gunshots ringing out around Westminster. Emergency services tried to save both the police officer and the attacker. One MP, former soldier Tobias Elwood, attempted to give the policeman CPR while trying to stem the flow of blood from his stab wounds. The officer died. He was later named as PC Keith Palmer.
A member of our Parliamentary and Diplomatic Protection Command. Keith, aged 48, had 15 years service and was a husband and a father.
The British Prime Minister was in Parliament at the time. She was rushed out through Westminster's back streets to safety, later addressing the nation from Downing Street, saying the attack on Westminster is an attack on the values of democracy.
The values our Parliament represents: democracy, freedom, human rights, the rule of law, command the admiration and respect of free people everywhere. That is why it is a target for those who reject those values. But let me make it clear today, as I have had cause to do before, any attempt to defeat those values through violence and terror is doomed to failure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
London remains on the second highest alert level. The victims, soft targets in one of the city's most heavily guarded areas.
You don't expect this thing to happen to you, so when it does, you get this incredible feeling of vulnerability and fear.
Which is exactly what the perpetrators of these sorts of attacks want. Londoners and visitors alike left asking, is anywhere really safe?
And reporter Ben Lewis is in London for SBS World News. Ben, it's a new day there. How is Britain responding to this attack?
Well, Janice, from speaking with witnesses to the attack in the minutes after it happened and regular Londoners this morning, many say the same thing, that it felt like this attack was inevitable, but that doesn't make it any easier to comprehend. Londoners coming into the Westminster area this morning will find the city very different to normal. Westminster Bridge remains shut to traffic and pedestrians. There are still forensic officers there examining the crime scene. The area around Parliament Square and the Houses of Parliament itself is also closed, as is Westminster Tube Station. Today was supposed to be the grand opening of the new police headquarters, the new Scotland Yard, just a couple of 100 metres down the road from where the attack happened. The Queen was supposed to attend that. That has been postponed indefinitely. Still, the British government is encouraging people to carry on with their normal business, and to that end, Parliament will be sitting as normal to debate the business of the day, but there will be a minute's silence for the people who lost their lives in the attack. Yesterday, after the attack happened, MPs were stuck inside Westminster for hours, along with people who work in the area. There were even tourists stuck on the London Eye, waiting for police to give the area the all clear.
With chaos unfolding outside the House of Commons, inside...
Ben, clearly it's a developing situation, so what's the latest with the investigation?
Well, Janice, some breaking news in the last few minutes. It's understood that heavily armed police have raided a flat in the city of Birmingham, which is a couple of hours' drive north of London. Local police won't confirm that it is linked to this terror investigation, but they are referring all inquiries to the Metropolitan Police here in London, which is very unusual. Witnesses at the scene said they saw 3 men being arrested and taken away by police. Forensic officers remain at the scene, and from what we understand, no charges have been laid at this stage. As for the attacker who was shot dead by police yesterday, investigators say they don't want to give away any more information about his identity at this stage because they believe doing that could hinder their investigation. We expect more news from police about how that investigation is going in the next few hours.
Ben, thanks so much for the update. Ben Lewis joining us live from London.